Hello everybody. I just wanted to make a little video today showing how to put together this graduation card that has a smudge on it and it's 2025. It's my sample card, but I'm afraid the stamps and many of the dies have retired now, but I still thought I would make a video to just show you the basic structure, and you could of course find different things, but I'll tell you which stamp sets I used in case you had them. Okay, so let's go over the pieces because those will be the same regardless of what dies you have. And I've done this with different dies actually as well. Okay, so your base is whatever your school colors. I did this for a class recently and everybody had different colors, which was kind of a not fun to cut for, but anyway, your card base is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and then you score in 2 1/8 from each side. Okay, and that gives you your basic structure. And then you have this card for the inside. I've already stamped on mine, and when I revisited this after not making it a while, I was like, why is there this little 1/2-inch piece at the bottom? And that's so we can attach our pocket. Oops, I can see I don't have the pocket piece here, but I'll just have to tell you on that one. If you want a pocket piece, you could of course just tape it down without that, but it gives it so there's less like tape for the card to hit when you go in. You'll still tape the sides, but I don't seem to have that piece. So anywho, sorry, that goes in there first. There's a little trick to it. Okay, so that's your other piece. That's how it closes. If you don't want a gift card pocket, you could just cut that off. And then your cap is 2 7/8 inch square. And this little, well, I'll get to the dies in a minute. Okay, and then for your collar, whichever color is your inside collar is 2 3/4 square. And then your other one's, I say to do a 3-inch square. I've already cut these, but I basically had a whole square that I put in my paper trimmer, and I just lined up my corners. I would only do one at a time. And then when you cut into a corner, you want to start in the middle and work your way up and down. Okay, so I did that with both those pieces. But now we actually need to cut these again. And it's better to do it before you glue them together, just for the sake of your trimmer going through. So you stick your corner down there, and I'm going to come towards that corner. There's my inside collar. And there's my outside collar. And again, whatever colors I'm doing, my son's school colors, and this is actually 2027 because it's for next year. And he doesn't graduate next year, but his friend does. So, you know, I'm just getting ahead of it. Okay, so then to assemble it, let me talk about the dies in case you have these. First of all, my numbers, I used Alphabet a la mode. I've used other ones before, but I do like these. They're very thin. So I, before cutting, put adhesive sheets on them so that I don't have to try to put glue, and I doubled the layer. But I wanted to mention these because these dies are still available. They're on sale right now. They're on the last chance list. They originally were $42 and they're only $25.20, and you get letters and numbers, and they've given some doubles of like popular letters like A's and E's, the vowels basically, A's, E's, I's. And so anywho, so that's where the letters came from. My stars came from this set, this one little star, and I put this "It's Time for a Celebration" on the envelope. So that's that retired set. Again, you could use a star punch or skip the stars. And before I had this next set I'm going to show you that I got the tassel from, I used this little piece in this set for the tassel. So I've done this card with that tassel. So you could totally just use that. And then for the little top, I have done before this 1/2-inch punch. I don't know if Stampin' Up still sells that. You just get any circle. This time I used, this is a new scallop die, so that's available. I used this because it cut me 2 at once and I was prepping for a class. That's where I got my circles from. And then these little tassels came from the birthday celebration set. I'm just showing you what the bundle looked like. I didn't use the stamps, but it has 2 tassels in it, so I could cut 2 at once. So I used those. And again, I apologize, these are retired. I've actually seen this done where you actually tie a real tassel on it, which though could be complicated in mailing. And then my inside greetings came from Cap and Gown, which is also retired. But they have that set, oh, I don't remember what it's called. Any congratulations set would work. So anyway, I'm giving you the structure, but those are the things I used that are retired. Okay, let's build it, because the important thing for me to tell you is how to make sure it fits in your envelope. Okay, so we're gonna put our collar pieces down. Oh, did I bring my glue over here? Actually, I'm gonna just tell you the envelope part, because the rest you can maybe just tell from the pictures, and in case you're just trying to get a quick view of how to put this together. The key is you want to make sure when you put your hat on that it's going to not go over your envelope. Okay, so once you have, oh, I do need to tell you about this tab too. Okay, so you have this little tab piece, 7/8 by 2, score at 1. So it's 2 this way, score at 1, 7/8 that way. When you go to put this on this one I can see I put it on the outside of the card, but if you don't want it to show on the outside, you could do the inside, but you just want to make sure that you put, like if you line the score line directly up with the back, it's not going to fold over your card. It's going to be like stuck and you're going to have to bend it in a different place. So you want it slightly above that score line, slightly hanging over, so that your when we attach our cap, it can open and close. So let me put some tape on here. Glue might actually be better for sliding around purposes. So I'm not going to put my glue all the way to the score line. And actually, maybe this is why I did it that on the back, because then I could make sure it was actually going to fold over. Now I put the glue somewhere else, so that's not going to work, but that's how you could do it, and then tape it there to make sure it's going to fold over. But since I put my glue on the other side, I could still do that. We're going to try this and see if it works, and if not, then I'll say don't do it this way. Hopefully that's centered. Okay, make sure it's going to fold over. Okay, so you just want it a little bit above. And then the important thing I wanted to make sure you knew was when, oh, that's not what I need. I need this envelope. When you go to attach your cap, you want to make sure, because you might be like, let me stick it right there, but that would be too high. It wouldn't fit in your envelope. See the envelope line? So you want to make sure that you bring it down low enough that will fit in your envelope. That's also going to help you see these collar pieces underneath. Now I'm going to attach my collar pieces, but oh no, I'm doing that the wrong way. But you get what I mean. You'll then be able to see that a little, which of course you'll see it more when you open. So I'm going to go ahead, I could do glue there too. It doesn't matter. Glue, tape. I'm using Seal Plus because I really want it to stick. And I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to use the top of my envelope and make sure this is lined up with that line, and I've got the top of my envelope so that I'm not going to put it to make it too big. I'm just trying to make sure it's all like even here and on the 2 sides before I press hard. Okay, that's that. So that's your basic structure. Now I will build the whole thing, but I just, in case you just wanted to catch that front part, because I'm planning to put this on my blog where you'll have the measurements and not need to watch me. I get impatient sometimes personally watching a video. I just want to get the basic idea. So I'll try to put all these measurements. And I don't know if I said this, but I got this card idea from Kimberly Myers at Stampin' with Kim. Wait a second. How does this go? Oops, I did that the wrong way. See? Oh, miracle. I didn't get too much glue on that part. So that's where I first saw this card. And you could check her. She used different stuff than I'm using too, because she made hers before some of these things came out. Okay, I don't know why. I'm having a hard time getting this. Open it there. Decided this time I'm going to do it different. You want your diagonal going that way. I just had this scary thought of, am I recording? I have this problem of thinking I push start when I haven't. Luckily, it looks like I am recording. So that's good. And we had some people at my thing, because I'd not pre-cut that triangle, try to tape it on before cutting it. It did not work well. So definitely cut them first. And then put them together with it open. Okay, so we have that there. And then I'm going to come add my pocket later. And it's just that rectangle, and then you put a little for the pocket. Then you just use a circle punch to punch out a little tab, or if you don't do that, that's okay too. You can not worry about that part. Okay. I wish I would have used glue or not my super sticky stuff. That is not as forgiving, but I didn't think about it. Okay, that tab is bugging me. All right. And then for the for my top, I put my tassels down first. And then I put them just as close to the center as I could eyeball. And then I put that on with a dimensional. I don't know why I'm telling you that when I'm about to literally do it. I keep forgetting that I'm going to make this whole thing now on the video, because you can tune out if you want to. And when I used that other tassel I showed you from Beautiful Balloons, I don't know now what I did with that set that I already showed you earlier. This one, then I just did one. I didn't do two colors. I might have one that I might have a picture of an old one I did with that I could show you. Oh, where's my big dimensionals? I'm trying to see if one side looks more open than the others. Okay, and then the colors. Again, this part is kind of finicky because the letters are so skinny and it's hard to do glue. And so that's why I put adhesive sheets on the back before I die cut. And you could either put your letters together and then put them on the thing. I think I'm going to just put them on the thing and then put my darker layer over the top. Now the hardest part with the adhesive sheets is getting it off the back. If you can't do it with a fingernail, then the little piercing tool can help. Or even your scissors. Like I said, we did this at a class recently, and I let people custom choose their school colors, which was a little tricky for me to die cut ahead of time for everybody because I wanted to save time at the class. But it was really fun to see all the different school colors for this card. We had red and green, blue and yellow. I mean, sorry, I'm trying to make sure I put these far enough apart that when I put the other layer over the top, and of course, this is extra doing 2 layers. I've also done this card. Like I said, I'll try to find an old version to put on the blog where I just did 1 layer and it was fine. This is extra, but you know, sometimes you just feel like being extra. I spent a whole day die cutting numbers and pieces for this class. Oh, now the nice thing about that adhesive sheets is you can reposition if you do it bad like I just did. But it is so nice to have that on here so that you don't have to try to get glue in those little spaces. Okay, now I really do like that white, but again, I'm doing these school colors and they were red and gray and blue. And then we'll just stick some stars. I'm seeing what I did before. Now this also, because I only had 1 little star die, I had to cut 5 per card. It's probably not my most brilliant move, but luckily my friend let me borrow her dies, so I had at least 2 to work with. And I just sat and die cut stars while I was watching shows. And that is basically it for this graduation card. Other than I could really quickly, maybe I will really quickly show you the pocket, just in case, if I can pull out some Night of Navies. And then it will really be done. So 1.5 by 4. I'll cut my 1.5. Oops, scoring blade. By 4. And then I'm coming in, this is probably a bigger circle punch than I used the first time, but coming in with that circle punch. And then glue along the bottom. That's just going to give it a little more give. And if I just glued it straight there, and they're not running into glue. We are still going to need some glue on the sides. This is probably, I could use glue. This is where if you have this like tear tape, this one's really skinny. Regular size would work as well. But I don't really need it down there because that's already gonna close. No. This is another place where snips can come in handy, or the piercing tool to peel that off. But I got some finger nails right now to make it work. And then I put a couple of these on here too. I want to make sure that my glue is not going over the edge. Oops, and you gotta close this first to make the whole card work. And I'm thinking now that it's so thick, I should have put my tab up even higher, guys. Make your tab, maybe put it in the back and really make it high, because this works, but it definitely wants to flip open. It could just be that this has been in a bin for a year, and that's why. But this is definitely, I guess that will make it easy when they open it. I was thinking I have to put a sign saying fold this back, but it just wants to fold back really quickly. Anywho, there's your graduation cards, and I hope to get this on the blog, but here's the measurements until I get it there. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.